Previously, when you visited Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland, one of the most expensive theme park environments ever built, it may have felt empty and lifeless. The detail is incredible and the scale is overwhelming, and yet you may have wondered how a land that's built on the most successful franchise in history somehow felt so uninspired. But as of April 29th, 2026, Disney did something it probably felt it would never do. And the decision wasn't just about adding some characters and a soundtrack, it actually broke apart the entire design thesis that the land was built on. The pivot to the original trilogy characters of Darth Vader, Luke, Han, and Leia is really an admission. Remember the original Galaxy's Edge we were promised? The one with a reputation system, the choose-your-own-adventure interactivity, none of which never really happened? Well, it seems like the version of Batuu where you were the main character of your own story has now been replaced with a version where you finally get to meet and interact with the main characters you and other guests actually came to see.
Clear the way, please.
When Imagineering designed Galaxy's Edge, the team made a fundamental creative choice. They rejected Tatooine, they rejected Naboo. They rejected the entire library of recognizable planets in the Star Wars universe. There was actually a good reason behind this. If you put a guest on Tatooine, that guest knows they aren't Luke and essentially diminishes them. So Black Spire Outpost was built on a planet no one had ever heard of, taking place between The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, when most of the saga's icons were dead or absent. Today, Disney didn't just break open the timeline, they actually zoned it. Galaxy's Edge is now split into 4 regions, with each operating under its own canonical rules. The Imperial Zone is where Vader and his Stormtrooper detachment live, and they don't really wander away from this specific area.
The one I seek has proven elusive, but he will not elude his fate. Luke Skywalker will answer for his betrayal.
The Millennium Falcon Zone anchors Han and Leia, who now perform a recurring mini-skit about the Falcon being broken down before meeting guests along the railing. The Marketplace is still the New Republic area pocket where Mando, Grogu, and Asoka operate. And the Resistance Forest, which is the area where Rise of the Resistance lives, stays locked to the sequel trilogy. Rey lives there mostly, but she'll wander to the edge of the Marketplace occasionally, but never back to the Millennium Falcon like she used to. So this isn't a unified land anymore, it's really 4 overlapping timelines sharing a single footprint, with a few characters allowed to cross these zones. Chewbacca, who appears in both the original and sequel trilogies, drifts around the entire land freely. And Luke Skywalker moves between the Falcon and the Marketplace because his appearance in The Mandalorian gives him permission to stand near Asoka. R2-D2 wanders everywhere too. Everyone else stays exactly where the timeline tells them to. What's interesting is that Disney built a rules engine for character placement, and this introduces cohesiveness to the land so that it doesn't become a disorganized narrative mess. Now listen closely, because the second pivot is just as significant. Imagineering held the line on immersive in-world sound for 7 years. No John Williams score, no main title or Force theme. The thought was that you, standing in a real outpost on a real Outer Rim planet, would never have an orchestra around you. Now, the recognizable iconic John Williams score plays throughout most of the land. But notice what they didn't do. As you walk toward Rise of the Resistance, the music fades and the forest reverts to its original ambient characteristics.
Oh, the cookies!
Then, as you cross back out toward the other entrance gate, the score returns. Presumably because they only wanted the original trilogy score to fill the land, and that score wouldn't make sense in the sequel era environment of the forest. So what exactly did Disney give up to get here? The original Galaxy's Edge was supposed to remember you. The datapad was supposed to track your actions. The reputation system was supposed to make Oga's Cantina greet you differently after a successful smuggling run. The consequential choose-your-own-adventure aspects from Imagineering are now long forgotten. What you're getting instead is something simpler, but more nostalgic and emotionally grounded. You get to meet and interact with Darth Vader. You get an iconic Vader entrance, the only character in the land who actually has one deservedly. You get Han, Leia, and Chewie bickering on the Falcon. You get John Williams' score drifting through the land. It isn't very complicated, but it's what most fans really wanted at the end of the day. So the strict audio, character, and interactivity thesis is now officially dead. What replaces these is more conventional, but actually more emotionally accessible version of Star Wars at Disneyland, and I think it's a hit. Even more exciting is that this conventional version is just the start. The Mandalorian Grogu mission, opening at Smuggler's Run on May 22nd, is the next big move. But once you've broken the strict canon apart, you can potentially drop in any era. Obi-Wan becomes possible, Anakin, Padme, Darth Maul. How about Andor? Galaxy's Edge is no longer a single chapter, it's become a hub. So out of the 4 zones, the Imperial Zone, the Falcon, the Marketplace, and the Resistance Forest, which one do you think now defines the current phase of Galaxy's Edge best? And if Disney does open the door to the prequels, who's the first character you think will walk through it? Drop your take in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.